What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be the start of a three-part series over this next week where we're going to look at ACL ligament injuries in the knee. So if you're someone who just tore your ACL and you're looking to try and avoid surgery and just do rehab, these would apply. Or if you're someone who had reconstructive surgery on the ligament, hopefully you're working with a PT, but if not, these exercises would apply to that situation too. So if you fall into either of those boats, stay tuned for the exercises in the next 3 videos. All right, so today's video is going to be for someone who's just injured their ligament or just had surgery. This video is really going to take us through about the first week or 2 weeks of rehab after the injury. The most important thing by far right away is to start working on your knee extension mobility. You just have to make sure you don't lose the ability to fully straighten your knee. Okay, so after this injury, people often want to protect it. Maybe they put a pillow under their knee. You just got to be careful with those things. We have to work on getting the knees back straight as our first priority. And one of the best ways to do this is with something called a heel prop exercise. And what you'll do at home is take a book, or you could sit and put your heel up on a coffee table, but you basically want to find something that puts your heel up a little bit higher so that your knee, gravity can pull your knee down and stretch. You've got to find something that's high enough that your calf muscles don't touch the ground, or else you won't get the appropriate stretch. And then what you're going to do is just hang out here. You might do this 2 or 3 times a day and just let your knee stretch for 10 to 15 minutes. I'm not doing anything active, I'm just letting it sit here and stretch. Okay, so this is one of the best ones, really the first thing to start with, a heel prop stretch, or again, you could do it on a coffee table as long as you've got space underneath here, just to regain this knee extension mobility. Okay, so that's the first one to start with, the knee extension stretch. After knee extension, we want to start looking at knee flexion, the ability to bend the knee. So the first one here is called a heel slide. What you're going to do with your knee is just slide your heel and bend your knee as far as you can. In the beginning, again, the first week or 2 after an ACL injury, we're looking to get knee flexion to about 100 degrees. So 90 is where you've got this right angle right here in your knee. You're going to basically work up, just take what your knee will give you. You don't want to push it too hard, but you're looking to kind of get up to about that range of motion after the first 8 to 10 days. So you're just slowly working on it. Sometimes people can only get up to here, in the first few days. So just work on it. This is an exercise you'll do 4 to 5 times throughout the day, and you might go through 10 or 15 repetitions. The key is to do it frequently throughout the day, just to keep working on that mobility. It will help to get swelling out of the knee. So you're just pulling up. You can even pause at the top and just stretch there for a second and then slide back down. Okay, so again, in this acute phase, the first 8 to 10 days, maybe up to 2 weeks, you're looking to get about 100, 110 degrees, something like where my knee is now. Another simple way to work knee flexion at home is just to sit on an elevated surface and let your knee hang into flexion with gravity. So if I'm sitting here, I can just sit over the edge and just let gravity pull my foot down. This is going to get me to about 90 degrees. And then from there, I can use my hamstrings to pull into a little bit of a stretch. Sometimes you can take a towel and wrap it around your foot and pull. You can reach down with your hand and pull it back a little bit. The goal really, if you can, is to do these things actively where you use your muscles. So if you're sitting here and 90 degrees is pretty easy, try to use your hamstrings to pull it back and stretch the joint. You can hold there for a few seconds and then do repetitions like that. Like on the heel slide, you might go for 10 to 15 reps. And again, do this 4 or 5 times throughout the day. Do it frequently to help regain that mobility. You don't want to do all the exercises clumped together. It's better to spread them out. Okay, so that's just another way to do knee flexion, just seated on an elevated surface and working on it here. After working extension and flexion mobility, next is going to be to reactivate our quadricep muscles on the front of the thigh. When you have a ligament injury, a meniscus injury, things like that inside the knee, the pain and swelling that often accompanies those injuries will cause the quadricep muscles to kind of turn off. It's called arthrogenic inhibition. It just basically means the muscle is inhibited because of a joint injury. So we really need to get those quads back online. They're the most important stabilizer of the knee joint. So the first exercise here in, again, this first week to 2 week period after the injury is called a quadricep set. It's basically an isometric contraction of your quadriceps. You're trying to get that connection, that mind-muscle connection back again. So this one, like the other ones, you're gonna do it multiple times a day, maybe 5 times a day. Go through 10 repetitions. You're gonna hold each contraction for 5 seconds. What I'm gonna do here is just, with my knee straight, just squeeze my quadricep muscles in an isometric contraction. I'm squeezing them, but I'm not moving my joint. And then I'm holding that for 5 to 10 seconds. I'm squeezing it as strongly as I can. You'll notice in the beginning when you're swollen, you might not really be able to turn your quads on, but just stick with it. It'll come back over time, but you're just gonna squeeze. Think about pushing your knee down into the ground. Sometimes even rolling up a small towel and putting underneath here just for something to push into can help in terms of a tactile cue. You're just pushing down like that and squeezing. Again, holding for 5 to 10 seconds, go through 10 repetitions, and do this 5 times throughout the day. If you've just had this injury, you may just be sticking with those first 3 exercises: extension mobility, flexion mobility, and the quad set. There is another exercise called the straight leg raise that you'll only be able to do if you can pass a little test here. So once we've been working that quad set for a little while and you feel like your quad can turn on well, you need that quadricep muscle to be strong enough to keep your knee locked out. So with this straight leg raise exercise, you basically squeeze your quad first, and then you lift your legs straight and you keep the knee locked out. Now what'll happen in the beginning for some people, if they can't turn their quad on enough, when they go to lift their leg, their knee will bend a little bit, and that's called an extensor leg. If that happens to you, it can injure the ACL more. So you can't do this exercise until you can perfectly keep the knee locked out. But once you can, then what you'll do is you'll squeeze that quad, and then you'll just do repetitions like this. 10 reps, maybe go through 2 to 3 sets. This will be kind of the first real strengthening exercise where you're just lifting up and down like that, keeping the knee locked out. But again, if you notice at all that you can't keep the knee locked out, when you go to lift it, even just a slight bend, it kind of gives a little bit, then this wouldn't be appropriate for you to start, and you may just need wait another week. Just keep practicing your quadricep set, and once you can really engage that muscle and keep the knee locked out, then you can start doing this straight leg raise. Okay, so that is our last exercise. These are gonna be the first 4 to think about when you've just injured the ligament. So again, these are the ones we would do with people in the first kind of 8 to 10 days, maybe up to 2 weeks. So if you're in that stage, start with these exercises. The next video will be for people in the kind of 3 to 4 week range, and I'll post that one later this week. So just stay tuned for those, and leave any questions in the comment section, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.